Independent grind, powered by Tech Nine.
Joining us live in studio here at Strange Music Headquarters, we got two guests today. We got Kye Colors and Mike. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. I go by 2 times, Mike 2 times.
I was going to ask you if you have a...
Yeah, that's my stage name.
So how did you guys get linked up together?
That's my best friend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my brother.
Since 8th grade.
Yeah.
He actually came. He was at a school I was at, Hogan. Well, first he was in history? Hickman.
I went to Hickman Mills School.
Yeah, he went to Hickman Mills and then moved and then came to Hogan, where I was at the start of the next semester, the second semester.
Yeah, second semester
of 8th grade.
And
I really started rapping, like, took music serious.
Yeah.
And then I seen that he wanted to rap. And I was like, let's just go ahead and do it together.
yeah, I was going to ask, like, how'd you get into it? Did one of you, like, really start, like, hey, we should do this? Or was it sort of just a natural?
Well, first, I mean, like, before I came to Hickman, not Hickman, before I moved to Hogan and met Mike, I was already kind of, like, doing music, like, a couple months prior to it. So, what really drove me to take music seriously was I didn't make the football team or the basketball team. Well, I made the football team, but, like, I was, like, cutting up in school. So my mom was like, you can't play no more. And I couldn't play anyway because my grades. And then I tried out for the basketball team, didn't make the basketball team. And then, like, I was just, like, outside of school getting into trouble. So I felt I had to find something. I feel like I didn't have no purpose. So then I felt like maybe I could try out this music stuff. Because I've been rapping my whole life, but taking it serious, like, let's go ahead and do this. I need to make this a thing for me. That's when that happened.
When was, like, that was...
Like, winter, it was like winter time, 2014, I believe, 2015, 2014. So, yeah.
Did it feel any different, like, playing sports and stuff? Like, I played sports and everything, but then once, like, I never made music, but once I sort of got into, like, the cultures, I was like, oh, I feel much more at home here. Like,
Yeah.
did you feel any difference between, like, when you were playing sports and versus music?
Yes, I was like, I'm never playing another sport again. But I did eventually try to play sports again, but no, it was like, sophomore year?
Yeah.
Sophomore year, I played basketball.
You did play on the basketball.
Yeah, I made a JV basketball team.
Yeah.
I played 2 games and I quit.
Yeah, no cap.
I was like, what am I doing?
So did you start, so Mike, you started rap, you were like, he said, like, oh, I saw Mike, you're like rap, so I wanted to produce for him, or what was the relationship there?
It was actually like, I was known always as the rapper, like around school, throughout middle school and everything, like even in elementary school and stuff. Like I just always used to be the one to be freestyling, like on some fun stuff. So I was known as Mike the Rapper, Mike 2 times the Rapper, but I had never been in the studio, never did nothing like that. So when I linked up with Kye, it was almost like everything just fell right into place. Like we was cool off the jump, like turned into my best friend real quick. We actually got in the studio.
Yeah.
He had some beats. He had a beat called, he did. Nah, you didn't even produce that one.
Because I didn't start making beats till that summer.
Yeah.
So when I met Mike,
we found a YouTube beat.
Yeah, we was still rapping on YouTube beats. I started making beats that summer though.
How'd you get into starting to produce?
Well, my cousin and my uncle, they would make beats. I see them doing that growing up. The beats, I didn't know how to make it, but I like play on the software because I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, I do know this one software where I could make beats. And I got tired of looking for beats on YouTube because it's like, it's very like time consuming because you listening to everything and it still became time consuming when I started making beats because I still didn't know what I was doing. I was still learning, but it felt better to rap on my own beats, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like how. So did you start just producing, or were you kind of rapping on the side too, or like?
My main thing was rapping.
Okay.
I was learning how to make beats, so nobody rapped on my beats until I didn't start putting out music to where I was rapping on my beats until my sophomore year of high school.
Do you feel more comfortable in one or the other? Like, do you feel more like? Do you still feel like I feel like sometimes rappers do both, but they feel more comfortable with one. Like, is
yeah. I would say this. I get praise for both sides, but cause it's like, you know, I've been rapping for so long. It's like it's just in me to like rap. Like I consider myself a pretty good rapper, you know. So that's just in me, and I love to do it. But you know, the production is more like I feel like it takes more thought than I would writing. You know, because when I'm writing, it's more so based off of feeling. I mean, sort of, kind of for the production side too, but more like when the writing is like, okay, this is about me. This isn't about what's hot, or like I don't base my beats off what's hot, but it's like sonically what sounds good, you know.
Yeah, I saw you got linked up with G Watts recently. He's sort of like back on the grind.
Yes.
And I'm curious, like for you, how'd you get linked up with him? And then also, what's it like producing for somebody else versus like yourself?
Okay, so we can start with G Watts. G, that's my big brother.
Yeah, shout out G.
Yeah, shout out to G Watts, Cavi in the house. So G, he approached me as if he was like a fan, you know, and I never really had like no grown man come up to me saying that he liked my music, like he felt it on that type of level. So I was like, I appreciate that, cause I mean, and at the time I didn't even listen I never even heard of G, you know. Cause I was in high school. I was listening to younger cats. You know, G. He not older, but he's
There's like rap game older and then
age group.
A
Yeah,
young OG.
yeah. He in a whole nother age group. You know, so. But then I mean, me and G. It wasn't even about the music at that time. You know, like we was just hanging out. You know, got closer, and that was like my big brother. That is my big brother. Like, I could bring him around my family and feel comfortable. Like Mike.
Yeah.
You know. So, but then, but yes, I am a part of the Caviar music group. So, and I've been a member for 2 years. So, but like he never approached me like, you want to be a part of Caviar.
Right.
That's just my big brother. You know. I came to him like, let me join.
Did you have beats for him in mind, or like were you? I guess like what's that? Then the second part of that was like, what's it like producing for somebody else over your own stuff?
Like, do I have some for him?
Yeah, like did you make those in mind with him, or like, because I'm imagining when you're like making beats by yourself and you're rapping over your own stuff, like you're like thinking like like you, but when you got to make beats for somebody else, like is it a different process for you?
Here's what I do. This is what I do. So, I mean, I'm not a beat maker. I'm a producer. So, and it's a difference between the two. I like to get the song done more so than finishing a beat. So I'll probably make like a 8-bar to 12-bar loop, and then see if I make. That's how I make my beats. I start them off, and then I show them to the artist like how that sound. If I feel like that matches what they got going on, and then if I hear them over it, or if they feel like they start freestyle, you know, we just vibing, listening to my beats, whatever I got. Now I'm like, okay, we could build a song around this. And that's really how the song come together. So yeah.
It's cool. I think like you guys obviously have a chemistry and like working with Caviar and stuff. Like it's cool because coming to KC, I didn't really know anything about it, but like I feel like so often it's like, oh, you got to go to New York or LA, but it's cool. What's cool about KC is like there's so many artists who do so many different things, and they all seem to find each other. So what's that like, being able to have like guys like Mike or guys like G or these like, you know, the Caviar family to like work with?
What's it like to
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like another day. It feels good though, cause for this past year, I guess I've been working more outside of the camp. You know, working with other artists. So, I mean, it feels better doing it for the homies than, you know, just people that I'm cool with, you know. Yeah. So I'd rather do that every day than just be like, yo, I got some beats, or somebody come to me like, yo, let's work. And the thing about me, I don't like collaborating. You know,
chemistry big.
Yeah, chemistry is important.
That matter.
And then the type of morale we got on our team, that matters too. So it's like if it just click instantly, we can make the it's endless.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it just doesn't stop.
Mhm.
So, but when I'm working with another artist, you know, it's like, okay, I gotta get to know you. I gotta see what you want to do or what you.
Patience too.
Yeah.
Hmm. So when it's just like you two, like you guys work together a lot, obviously. Like, what's that like in the studio to have? Like, are you guys just throwing things back and forth with each other, or how do you create stuff together?
Most of the time, it's like we bounce off each other. We feed off each other.
Yeah, that's when the best work come out. It may be like I might send him a beat if I finish something. I'll be like, how that sound? If he like it, he like it, or if he don't, he don't. He just don't touch it. You know, but it's best. We make our best music when we in the same room together. So it's like we get the song done that day, or we get the idea out that day. You know,
Touchdown always my favorite one. To go back to.
I got this song I produced for him called Touchdown, and I feel like that's what started the way we create together.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm like, that's our thing. We gotta be in the same room together.
Even though it took 3-4 years.
Yeah, it took 3-4 years to get like, how we gonna do this? Because it's like
every time we was in the
picky,
studio, we play around, picky.
When you an artist, bro, you picky.
Yeah.
When you care about the art, you picky. Like the work process.
So tell me about Nights and like what made that one. Like if you say you're picky, like how'd you know that was the right one, or like why'd you release it at the time you did?
Okay, so Nice. The beat. We can start with the beat because that's what I did first. At the time, I had a girlfriend. She was like, "Show me how you make a beat." I was like, "Okay." So I started messing around. Then like the first beat I made, I was like, delete. It was like it took me like four more beats. So I was like, I might could do something with this. So. I mean, I don't know. She thought the beat was boring, but I guess she fell asleep.
I fell asleep on some of the beats too. It ain't that they boring. It's just you there so long.
Yeah, it's not like people always think like the
And
studio.
he really
so
picky too. Like so,
the
littlest thing.
Yeah.
Going back and restarting the whole.
Yeah, and I think people think it's like super glamorous and stuff, but like or like being in the studio, it's like no, you're just doing the same thing over and over.
People be like, "Can I come to the studio with you?" I'm like, "Sure,"
But it's you're gonna be bored though.
You're gonna be bored.
But I like Nights because it has that like bounce and like it's a cool beat. But then like you get real honest and like when you start listening to the lyrics, you're like, oh shit, like. So how'd you? I guess that decision to like go. Because to me, I would just heard it and like I don't work like a rapper, so my brain is like, oh, this beat has a lot of bounce. Let me make like a party track to it. But you sort of like opened up on that. Like, how did you? What inspired that track, and like what made you want to get those words out?
Well, I'm gonna go back to the beat. I guess it was the chords that I picked out that made me like feel like that was setting the atmosphere for the song. So then when it came down to the writing, I was like, I just had the chorus. And it's crazy because the chorus was inspired by this Travis Scott song called Impossible. It was like, nice like this, nice like this. But I guess I sped it up, put it in a different key. Like, it was nice like this, nice like this. And then I wasn't even thinking about the song at the time, you know. And I was like, oh, that's where I got that from. But then it turned into something else. I kept saying that, though. And then the hook, I had the hook at first. And then when I got to the verse, I was like, you know, let me be a little more personal than I usually would be in my songs. Because everything would be like, it'd be like everything going on around me. But what's going on with me, like, you know. So I was like, let me get some personal stuff down, get some weight off my shoulders.
Yeah. What's that like to be that personal on a track? Like, I imagine it's like hard to like sort of like.
Oh, really I shed a couple tears writing that song. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, it's kind of relieving.
Yeah.
Like it felt good to get that out, and then to share it with other people. I had people come to me saying like that song like affected them, and like it touched them. So that's really like. I'm like, that's the best feeling in the world. If all my songs could do that, I'm doing something right. So, and plus the beat, I love that beat. It's just the drums, I love it, the bass line.
Yeah. You mentioned Travis Scott. I wanted to ask you because I saw House Party and I was like, oh, like it has all those throwback vibes to it. Like, so I'm curious, but I know you're like a young cat, so I was like, I wonder what his influences are. You mentioned Travis Scott. Like, do you have those more modern influences, or do you go back to that like old '90s style?
It's not even '90s. It's not even based off the '90s. Like my inspirations are Stevie Wonder, No ID, Jay-Z, and I guess you could say Jay-Z '90s, but mostly it comes from like 2000s Jay-Z, you know, or yeah, late '90s, late '90s Hov, and then it's him, and then I would say Travis Scott, you know, one of the influence, the way he does his vocals, cause I don't think people like you know the older cats, they don't really like, they not feeling that auto-tune stuff going on right now, so it's like. But I love it. I love auto-tune. It's like, damn, I can sing.
Hell yeah.
It saved my life.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So, I mean, I don't you won't hear me overdo it.
Auto-tune got me singing now.
Yeah.
I'm not even a singing type of artist for real. Like, that's not my lane. But yeah, auto-tune is going up right now.
When did you first start using auto-tune for both of you?
First time I used auto-tune, I think it was Warning, bro. I got this track called Warning. I used auto-tune on the whole song. I was like, yeah, that's
probably Touchdown the first time I used it.
Yeah.
Is it weird that first time? Because I imagine it's like, oh, like I can't.
Well, I wouldn't say that's my first time using it, but like
recording
it like that's how the song gonna be.
Is that weird to like? Oh, like singing, you're like, how is this gonna work? Like, because I imagine, like, especially like Mike, you said like you've never sang before.
Yeah,
like
at first when you hear it, it's like you hear the rough version first, then you throw the auto tune on it, then you got to tweak the auto tune to make it sound good. Yeah, because I could be sounding off key, then a motherfucker. Then he come back and bring the auto tune back around, you know.
Yeah,
it sound good. So I'm like, fuck, we gonna go from here. But I try not to make it like to where all my songs now is gonna be auto-tuned, because that's not who I am. That's not how I create. So
yeah, I think that balance is important. Like sometimes I think artists like can overuse it, but like when it's used right, like it really not.
Like I got a song right now I'm working on called Same Thing, and Jakai keep listening to it, and you know, like he super picky. He telling me I need to go back and re-record the hook, and I agree with him too, because like you said, some people can't overuse it.
Yeah, that flow gotta be right
like
when
that.
you're using that auto-tune. Or it's just gonna sound like a bunch of robot noise.
Yeah, true. It's gonna throw the song off.
Word. Well, I'll let you guys get out of here soon, but I had a question for you. I saw you were tweeting a lot during the Grammys and like had a lot. I'm curious, so I want to know, like we were just talking about it on the show Monday, so we're just like recapping. I want to know how you feel about the awards. Like specifically, I know you're like a big Nipsey fan. Like,
yes.
Did you think he deserved to win it?
Yeah, and you know the reason why I favor Nipsey so much is because you know that's like he's where he come from, his upbringing. You know, it ain't. I'm not saying like it was the same, but it's more relatable than to the other artists that that was on the list. Like Pusha T, I never sold coke in my life.
Right.
So I'm like, I get it. The songs on there is hard. Like I get what he's saying. I understand it fluently, but it's like I can't relate to that. You know, but everything Nipsey talks about is more, you know, universal, and it's like it has an uplifting message.
I like his whole idea of the marathon too.
Yeah, the marathon campaign. You know, and that whole. Really, why I favor it so much, because I personally know somebody that was working on the album. He is the executive producer, so that's why I was like rooting for him. You know, like let's get this win. I was just rooting for him. Shout out to Kye Colors. But overall, that album should have won. But respects to Cardi though, because I love Cardi B.
For sure.
I like the new female rappers. I like the City Girls. I love the City Girls.
That's what the City Girls. Yeah, the homies be on my head about that. But they
I know the lyrics and all.
Yeah, for real. I don't recite them, but I know the lyrics.
I can't recite them.
Yeah, I know them. If I'm with a girl, yeah,
like,
she gonna turn. Yeah, we gonna turn her up one time with the City Girls.
That's
sure.
it.
And I actually saw you were like kind of behind, but like you mentioned like a Nipsey Meek collab, and then like all of a sudden, like,
yeah, I knew they had a song, but it's old, so I didn't. Well, they was on DJ Khaled stuff, but I wasn't listening to that. I'm waiting for the
new
the Nipsey and Meek. This is our song. We putting it out. You know, like it's popularized.
Yeah.
You know, and that was crazy because they responded to it. I was like, oh, look what I did.
Yeah, that's hard.
I put that in the universe. So
Yeah, you're like, well, now that you're both here, like, let me.
Right. Well, since y'all here, go ahead and check out Nights when you get a chance. I wasn't gonna say nothing at first. I kind of think, I don't know, not trying. If somebody else did it, you know, go ahead and do you. But I feel like that kind of stuff corny.
Yeah.
You know. But they was kept egging on, like, boy, show them your music.
Yeah.
I'm like, they not gonna click it.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna see it. They got too many notifications. So
yeah, I always think there's like a fine line there, like, because sometimes you see it, like, people are like, oh, now that I got a viral tweet, like, here's my SoundCloud, or like they'll put like their song behind like a thing and attach it to a tweet somebody, and it's like, what do you
put
like,
it in the thread?
Yeah. So what are your like what are you guys like strategies for like trying to build your fan base and stuff? Because obviously there's like, you got to do social media, but there's that balance there. Like, do you have anything like you try to do?
You got it first.
Love. It's genuine love in the city, and people fail to look over. Like, they really look over that. Like, people really coming out to your shows, and you know, and it's, if your music's that good, you know, it's probably not in the face of a certain group of people or audience in the city, but I bet you if you get in their face, you get the right song in their face,
They ain't gonna have a choice.
They ain't gonna have a choice but to love it. You know, and so my thing is, I don't really like overdo it. Like, I don't go in people's DM like, check out my song.
Yeah.
I got a good support base where it's like they'll show their friends their songs. Outside of here, outside of the city, I understand you gotta spend money like for promotion and stuff. So I get that. But as far as like building up a local fan base, it's like, just show love to your supporters. You know, be a part of that community, because everybody want to be the star and want to have that celebrity mentality. You know, like feel like they're superior.
Yeah.
When they get a little buzz, and I'm like, that's not the way. But I'm not gonna. That's your personal preference. But me personally, I just do it by love. And G taught me that. G taught me that for real, because it's like, without them, what are you?
Facts.
You a song in the past.
We'll let you guys get out of here soon,
out.
but I want to give you guys both a chance to like plug like anything you got coming up, shows, music wise, like what do you got cooking?
What you got, Mike?
Right now, we just working on songs. I'm in the studio, putting a whole bunch of songs together. I don't want to promise a project, but a project coming. Yeah, that's what we on. Really just trying to, it was hard. Well, it's not hard, but it's harder for me because, like, I've been in the music scene, but I was inconsistent at first. Like, I wasn't dropping music all the time. I'd probably drop a song every year, a song every 6 months, or drop a song and take it off or something like that. Like, I wasn't really putting in that work, but now I'm putting in that work and it's starting to show. Like, it's gonna be a good year for us.
Awesome, man. Well, social wise, where can guys find you?
You can find me at official Mike 2X on everything. That's OFFICIALMIKE number 2 letter X.
Boom. I feel like you've done that before.
Right. Yeah. No, that's my first time doing that. I'm glad I breezed through it. You see, I closed my eyes to spell official. But yeah, that's me.
I'm currently working on a project titled Juvenile. The whole concept behind it is like, you know, our subconscious, like, it could be immature at times. So that's why I chose to. So everything on there is gonna be, you know, it's gonna be fun, but it's gonna be immature. It's gonna be very childish to a certain extent. But you know me. I'm gonna still get to the
Swag on it.
get deep in it. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna be special. Nights is gonna be on there.
Awesome.
For sure. Shows, I will not be doing any shows until the project is released, and the release is expected in May. We don't have a solidified date. What else I got coming up?
Shows for me, if they got a bag for me, I'll come.
Yeah,
I'll do a show.
if they spending a decent amount of money, then I may reconsider.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as right now, I'm not doing any shows. I'm not doing no features,
Album mode.
no beats. I'm not selling beats. We locked in.
Cool.
I'm all in with my piece of work, Caviar, and that's it.
Awesome. And socials?
Social, you can find me at Kye Colors. That's KyeColors.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for
thank you
coming
for
in the
Thank
studio.
you. This is a beautiful building.
Yeah.
I would just like to let that be known.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
You're locked into Independent Grind on Dash Radio. Tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern for the latest hip-hop news, music, and interviews. Independent Grind only on Dash Radio, baby. Tech 9!
This is the genius, Chris Calico.
Cali, baby!
Letting you know you're tuned into Tech Nine's Independent Grind on Dash Radio. Ah!